you started your chiropractic practice in Virginia, and you moved to California in the mid-'80s. And so what started you on your journey to desire to use sound and vibration for your healing practice?
Well, I was a musician since I was a kid, and kind of an artist. I went to art school, thought I was going to be an artist, and went out and had some businesses. Went back to chiropractic college when I was 29, so I kind of been in the world already. And going to chiropractic college was more of a part of a spiritual journey than it was to go to become a chiropractor, because I'd never even been to a chiropractor when I went to school, if you can imagine such a thing.
Wow.
It had to do more with, recognizing from an esoteric standpoint that the body is a textbook of universal law. And therefore I wanted to see what humanity had discovered about the body in its like kind of nth degree of detail, which you can really only get by going to medical school or something, And chiropractic school is basically medical school without the drugs and the surgery.
Right.
It's all set, the standards are set by the U.S. government. So taking anatomy and physiology courses and learning it in great detail, and then realizing the only way I could really learn it was to draw it, because I'm a right-brained artistic type. And so that's how I studied and learned it. And then other students saw those drawings, and before you know it, I'm putting myself through school as a medical illustrator. But it cemented it in my mind, that way of learning, how do I learn? And then going for that, then it became kind of easy. But anyway, after I graduated and got into practice, I realized now I was in a position where I could do something I always wanted to do, that's make an album as a composer and a musician. So I took my first bank loan out in my whole life. That was in end of 1980, 81, something like that, and bought myself a lot of equipment for a little recording studio, put it in my spare room. And after it was all set up, the first thing I did was work on my wife on her low back, because that's the room I used to do, pop the table open and do that. So I popped the table open, she's on the table, and I'm surrounded by all this sound equipment. So I consider this to be a setup.
Right.
I was shamelessly set up by the universe as a whole. I kind of believe I've got this circle of elders up there whose job it is to look out for me. So they kind of do these setups every once in a while. So anyway, I'm standing there, I'm going, I wonder if I can make a chiropractic adjustment with a sound wave.
Oh.
Kind of based on the idea of a wine glass. The fifth lumbar, let's say, is a certain shape, density, and mass that's different from any other vertebra. And I should be able to find a very specific frequency that makes it resonate. And so I kind of set that experiment up, and it worked. And that was that little decision that dropped into my brain, and carrying it out and seeing it worked was, for me, one of those big moments. You never know when those big moments are going to come, but when they do, they seem like a small decision that turns out to be one of the biggest decisions you ever made. Because my life changed from that moment on. It's when I saw it happen, it was like, oh my God, well, what
else yeah.
Let's try that again with another vertebra and see if that works with a different frequency. And it did. And then it's, well, wait a second, what about cranial work? Now I can target a specific cranial bone that's very difficult to get to otherwise. Or what about an organ?
Right.
Or what about a meridian? What about an emotion?
Wow.
And
as
Tesla and Einstein said, everything is frequency, energy, and vibration.
It's all energy and frequency. Well, sound is interesting. You've seen, the standard kind of picture of the total electromagnetic spectrum of everything in the universe, right? And down at one end there's low frequencies, and at the other end there's super high frequencies. You've got down at the one end you've got things like television rays and radio frequencies, and then it's X-rays, and at a certain point there's color frequencies in the angstrom range, and higher than that is gamma rays and cosmic rays, and they keep getting faster all the way up. There's one thing in the universe that's not on that scale. Everything's on the scale except for one thing, and that one thing is sound. Sound is not electromagnetic. It's a mechanical energy wave. It's a pure energy wave that moves through the universe, moves through components in the universe, like we call it a medium. So when I talk to somebody, I'm vibrating vocal cords by blowing breath across them and creating sound waves. And sound waves are a wave of energy, a mechanical energy wave that's moving through the air molecules.